You know, I am saying public pressure caused the government to suddenly decide that now they're gonna try to salvage the vessel. Remember, I said from the outset, buddy, I ain't taking praise or nothing, but I said, look, these men are charged with the capital offense of murder, right? In that they operated this boat in such a reckless manner. Nandala said that the drunk, he must, that they said, what would we say? It takes one to know one. He said that the drunk. That is what he said. And he said a lot of other things. Hear what he says here. Listen to it.
The man who driving the boat, who was drunk, and the first mate who was also drunk and under the influence, and who were in charge of the boat, and who apparently were not at the wheel at the time, they must go free. Which part of planet Earth are these people living?
Which part of planet Earth Nandala live in? Which part of planet Earth? In that you, as the Attorney General, the AG, the Attorney General of Guyana, Anil Nandlal, AG, SC, MP, can go on national television and make those comments on a matter, those prejudicial comments on a matter before the court. God help us. God help us. He did likewise in the extradition case, and he was strongly rebuked, he and Jagdio, by the Caribbean Court of Justice last week. Man, I learned. Perhaps he is under the influence, and therefore he ain't learning. So he comes now with his prejudicial statement that those men were drunk. The captain and the first mate were drunk, and they were not at the wheel at the time. How we know that? How we know that? I have never seen or heard anything about they say they had marijuana in the system. That is what was said to us. We never heard anything about alcohol. I never heard anything about alcohol. Because even if you have alcohol in your system, does that mean that you're drunk? Does that mean? Are they going to tell us that the percentage of alcohol in relation to blood or breath? But nonetheless, making them prejudicial statement, right? So I said, and I will continue to say, that if you charge these men with murder as you have done, then the vessel should provide crucial evidence. The vessel that is below sea should provide crucial evidence. And for you to go wrong, as Mark Phillips and them were saying, lying Mark Phillips, that they were going to speak to family members, for family members to influence whether the vessel should be left there and be a memorial or whether they're going to raise it. Crucial evidence, because the suggestion that the vessel might have been overloaded. And if you want to suggest that the vessel overloaded, you got to get evidence. Sorry about that. Sorry about that little choke there. Yeah, you got to get evidence that the vessel was overloaded, because they told us that the scale at the loading point wasn't working. So they got no record to say this was the tonnage on the vessel, despite as he'll come and talk a lot of crap about what the vote is licensed to carry and all. He licensed to carry that. But if you don't have a scale, how do you know what load was on the vessel? And then the married man, Stephen Thomas, came to tell us about the load line and all them things. But you depending on load line, we have evidence that the boat was so loaded that it rested upon the ground off. So therefore the load line would have meant nothing. That the boats sit down on some sandbank and can register the correct load line. We tell about the load line. And that is even more reason, as I've said, why the vessel should be salvaged. Therefore, the evidence would have been destroyed, but you should get an idea as to what the cargo was. But they didn't want to. They come with all sorts of excuse. All sorts of excuse. Then eventually now, I think it might have been Saturday, they come up and they say, MV Barima to be salvaged for commission of inquiry. They rush out, set up commission of inquiry. We're going to talk about that. 5 men named as commission of inquiry. So they rush out. And now they decided that they want to salvage the vessel for the commission of inquiry. That is what they said. And this is Dennis Shabral in Demerara Waves reporting Saturday. Amid growing protests by a wide cross-section of Guyanese, the Guyana government on Saturday said the 87-year-old ferry, MV Barima, would be salvaged with special care to protect forensic evidence for the commission of inquiry. That is what they're reporting. Through the Maritime Administration, which is MARAD, government is asking companies with experience in salvaging wrecks in Guyanese and Caribbean waters, where visibility is poor and there are strong currents and tidal streams, to state how they intend to protect the environment and preserve forensic evidence. Quote, description of the proposed technical approach for the MV Barima salvage, with emphasis on the measures to protect. That's what the notice states. The decision to bring up the vessel, which sank on July the 18th in the Atlantic Sea, that's what Dennis Shabral said. Me know Atlantic Sea, but he said the Atlantic Sea, while traveling from Georgetown to Port Kaitumo, came on the heels of the swearing of the 5-member commission of inquiry, as well as intensified protests by civil society activists, University of Guyana students, and political opposition. Opposition leader Azudin Mohammed credited activism for government's unambiguous decision. Quote, the MV Barima will now be salvaged. Power to the people. The government has finally buckled under the pressure of the people. This is a victory for every citizen who refused to remain silent and stood up for truth, justice, and closure. End of quote, he said. But he voiced concern that the August 14, 2026 deadline is far too late. He said that he felt at that pace, the vessel may not be salvaged until sometime in September, forcing grieving families to wait even longer for the answers and closure they deserve. Quote, the government must act with urgency. The salvage operation should begin immediately so that the truth can be uncovered and families can finally begin to find the closure they have been denied. End of quote, he said. Marad said the MV Barima was lying as a wreck in soft mud in approximate position latitude, I give the latitude and longitude there, in water depths of about 42 to 49 feet. The regulatory agency said the contractor must propose methods and sequence for all stages of the operation. The Guyana government said the company must provide evidence of relevant experience over the last 5 to 10 years, including a track record of successful salvage operations in the region, with a brief description of location, depth, vessel type and size, method used, and client references. Also being requested are indicative timeline to commence and complete operations, ability to stow the salvage vessel upright on a barge for several weeks, statement regarding insurance coverage, health, safety, and environmental management systems and compliance with Guyana's maritime, procurement, and occupational safety regulations are also being requested by the Guyana government. Out of the estimated 179 passengers and crew, 72 were rescued, 76 died, and 30 are missing and presumed dead. That is the article from Dennis Shabral. Again, let me start from the bottom. How do they know how many persons are missing and presumed dead? How do they know that? How do they know how many persons are missing and presumed dead? That's a question I want them to answer. When you don't know, that has been established, beyond any question of a doubt, it has been established that they don't know how many persons were on the vessel. They don't know how many persons were on the vessel. Yeah, you can know how many persons were rescued. That is easy. You can know how many bodies were recovered. That is easy. But you cannot know how many persons are missing and presumed dead because you did not know how many were on the boat in the first place. So for them to come and tell me this, the thing. But when you listen to that, when you read that, I believe, that's my belief, tell you that, they're making this thing so onerous, so difficult, this tender what they get, that at the end of the day, my crystal ball telling you, they will disqualify all the people. So they don't meet the criteria and they can't do the salvage. Because everyone, they're saying they're asking companies with experience in salvaging wrecks in Guyana and the Caribbean waters, where visibility. So in other words, the companies that they are trying to get must have experience in salvaging wrecks in Guyanese and Caribbean waters where visibility is poor and there are strong currents and tidal streams. They have to state how they intend to protect the environment and preserve forensic evidence. So that is one of the criteria that they got to satisfy. Then they have to state the description of the proposed technical approach for the MV Barima salvage, with emphasis on the measures to protect the document forensic evidence for use by the Commission of Inquiry. So you already named the Commission of Inquiry. They haven't indicated when they will start, but they named them already, the 5 members. I'm going to hope I get time to go into that. They named them. But now they're telling whoever wants to salvage, who want to bid to salvage this thing, right? That they have to protect evidence for use by the Commission of Inquiry. And then, as we're saying, they're saying what? What they're telling us. What they're telling us. Listen, let me read you the line. Right? They get 14 days within which to do this. So it means that this evidence, even if the Commission of Inquiry were to start now, evidence in there. Right? How long they're going to take? They must tell them how long. So if it take 1 month, 2 months to get this thing up, whatever time it takes. Because remember, they're saying you got to get to protect and document forensic evidence for use by the Commission of Inquiry. So they rush ahead and they name the Commission of Inquiry, right? And then they raise this vessel here. They never intended to raise it in the first place. They never intended to secure vital evidence in the first place. But because we talk out and make little nice, they decide now they're going to come. But they make the thing seem to be so difficult. They tell you where the vessel is lying. Soft mud approximately right there in 42 to 49 feet. Then this is the part that you got to understand. The regulatory agency said the contractor, that is Marad, said the contractor must propose methods and sequences for all stages of the operation. So they got to give you the methods and sequences for all stages of the operation. Then here they go on to say the Guyana government said the company must provide evidence. They must provide evidence of relevant experience over the past 5 to 10 years. But they're setting this thing up so that they're going to say nobody unqualified, that the vessel must stay there. Because they're telling you that these people, whoever wants to get this work, whoever wants to get the contract to raise this vessel, must provide evidence of their experience over the last 5 to 10 years. And hear this part, including track records of successful salvage operations in the region with brief description of location, vessel type and size, method used, and client's references. So when you submit, you got to tell them, hey, in the last 5 to 10 years, I salvage an iron operation. You got to describe the operation, the location where the operation took place, the depth where the vessel that was salvaged was, what type of vessel, right? So you don't believe the salvage, no balau or creole, corial, and say. Then the method you use, and hear this one, you have got to provide them with references from your clients. So whoever you work for, whoever you work for, got to give you a reference. You tell me this if you really want this thing come up. The reference. Also being requested are indicative timeline to commence and complete operations, ability to stow the salvage vessel upright on a barge for several weeks, statement regarding insurance coverage, health, safety and environmental management systems, and compliance with Guyana's maritime procurement and occupational safety regulations are also being requested by the Guyana government. I telling you all, when you read this and you analyze it as I have done, limited as it is, them now want the vessel come up. They're making this thing so difficult for anyone who wants to. When most company, when they read it, first of all, so if you salvage a vessel some 15 years ago, and maybe you would have improved on your technology and all that, they don't want you to be within the last 5 to 10 years. You have to have salvaged a vessel in the last 5 to 10 years. And now, anyway, you have to salvage a vessel in these parts. You have to have salvaged a vessel in these parts, right? So, for example, let me give you an example. In doing my research, I saw there was a massive salvage operation some years ago, I think around 2000. The Russian submarine cursed, right? And the Russians reluctantly contracted with, I think it was a Norwegian company or someone in the Netherlands or somewhere there to salvage this thing, right? And they said it was one of the most daring or difficult salvaging operation. But they salvaged the submarine and they took it to dry land and so on. In other words, I tell you, that company might not qualify to salvage the MV Barima. That is what they are suggesting, that a company that salvaged that vessel, that massive operation, may not qualify to salvage the MV Barima. You think them easy? You think them easy? You think they really want? Little pressure comes, so they're hustling and the thing, little pressure, and people calling for the vessel to come up. Because one woman actually said, even the body bones, let it come up so I can get closure. So they drafted this proposal, people to apply, and they're making it, in my view, so difficult that perhaps very few companies, if any, would qualify to come and to salvage that vessel. Enough requirement, right? There's a lot of requirement for you to satisfy. And then all the local regulations with procurement. What the hell procurement? Procurement and occupational safety regulations. So they got to get procurement. I guess they got to get tin. I don't know. But all sort of requirements are being put. All kind of requirements are being put for any company who want to come to bid or whatever, make a proposal to salvage. Gotta give you your whole background, right? Your whole background. Since when Guyana know about them type of due diligence? Since when this government know about that type of due diligence? Did they do that when they give critic contact for build the pump across the river? They do that with the people from what building the gas to energy? That's another problem you get now. They did do that at the time, but they come and they put in all of these things in place because they want to make it difficult. So at the end of the day, they're going to come and say, well, no company qualified to come and to salvage this vessel. That is what their angle is, my belief. It is, but we shall see. We shall see. Now, let me say this too. Let me go on. Let me go on. We talk about the members of the commission. When the commissioners were named, I think it was last Saturday, they told us, they called it a big thing, all this, Nandalal, taki, mauta, they say, like the white people mounted plate clat. Some people said, like, the white people will lap clat. Like that, come and say how the people are, what? All, no Guyanese, because, all other things, here. No Guyanese. And these are the members here. And since the naming of these persons, as far as I'm aware, is only the gentleman from Poland has not come under any real scrutiny. because the man, Justice Godfrey Phillips Smith of Belize, they come up with something, say something. Then they talk of this one. Well, this is the one, to me, this is the colorful one. Do I have the thing here? Captain Amada Fuda. Captain Amada Fuda. They say he's from Jamaica. Here, let me read something here. What they say about Captain Amada Fuda. They claim from Jamaica. They say he is a shareholder. He and Vincent Thakur are shareholder with Pretty Pal Singh, their local company. The holding company is Atlantic Ventures, Inc. Pretty Pal Singh is rumored to be the largest shareholder in the holding company, plus his son Sachin operates a dry dock company known as Guyana Port, Inc. Then they go on to say that the wife of Captain Food is a personal friend of the First Lady. They allege that she has a direct hand in steering gold scholarship students towards the training institute. And then they say the same man owns an Arab restaurant at the old Pegasus building together with his wife, who is a Palestinian. It is further alleged that he acquired his Guyanese citizenship in Labatime. So this Captain Fuda, what they say, from Jamaica, questions are being raised about him. You have the one here, the woman lawyer from Trinidad, Nairi Dawn Alfonso, Trinidad. They're claiming that she has a business relationship with Kioma Griffith. You remember the same Kioma Griffith, who is now the Minister of Labor? They claim that she has some business relationship with him. As I've said, only the Polish man, apparently nothing is found. The Rear Admiral from Trinidad, they claim that things have been said about him as well. And then the shocker, what I consider the shocker. Remember I told you all to watch out to see who they're going to name as the secretary and the legal officer. I did say that. Y'all will remember that. Y'all remember that I said in this class, watch now to see who they will name as the legal officer and the secretary. Well. I saw, let me pull it up here. They named the secretary. And here what it says, and who's surprised? I tell y'all, it's going to be a FF. And one of these days, I'm going to tell you all what the last two FF are for. The last F is fool. And the penultimate or the second to last F, y'all make a guess as to what. Friends, family, favorite, FF. The last F is fool, and the second to last F is anybody's guess. Right? So the name Javed Sadiq. Javed Sadiq is named as the secretary to this commission of inquiry into the MV Barima tragedy. For y'all, in case y'all don't know, Javed Sadiq is the nephew of the late minister of the PPP government, Bibi Sadiq. She was a member of the PPP government, she's a minister. She was also on the Guyana Elections Commission. Right? No, not it's the not his son, it's not Bibi's son, it's Bibi's nephew. I think our sister's son. So he is the secretary. And here. He was the secretary for the Madja Commission of Inquiry. Remember that? The Madja Commission of Inquiry, right? He was the secretary also for the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the 2020 general and regional elections. The same man is the secretary of the Constitution Reform Commission, right? And he's also the chairman of the board of directors of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority. The same Javed Sadiq. Again, they got some of them, as I said, they're on all them boards. Some of them, they're on all them boards. Like Woodans, like termites, they're on all them boards. This man is the secretary for all them commission. All the commissions of inquiry. The major commission of inquiry. He was the secretary. And don't forget, on the same major commission of inquiry, that the commission of inquiry set up, chaired by Joe Singh, retired Major General Joe Singh, Javed Sadiq was the secretary to that, and Keoma Griffith was the lead officer, the lawyer for that commission. And I will never forget Keoma Griffith on that commission of inquiry trying to blame the Guyana Fire Service to the fire because he argued that the Guyana Fire Service visited and inspected that school, saw defects, made recommendations, but they did not seek to put the recommendation in effect. The Guyana Fire Service, Keoma Griffith argued, did not seek to put the effects, the system. In other words, he's suggesting that the grills that were there should have been removed by the Guyana Fire Service. He's suggesting that the fire extinguishers and those things that were absent should have been provided by the Guyana Fire Service, and he went on and on and on. He's rewarded. He is now the Minister of Labor. So I am waiting anxiously to see who they will name as the lawyer to the commission, the legal advisor, whatever they want to call it. And I could bet my last dollar, the crystal ball is telling me, it's going to be a FF. That is what it's going to be. And you tell me you can look at this thing from the outset. From the outset, they're stacking the thing for absolve the government as they did in the Madhya fire. So even though reports were sent to Priya Manik-Chan, who was the education minister, she said she tabled it to parliament. So the highest decision, not parliament, sorry, cabinet. Cabinet, she tested the table, the cabinet, they didn't do nothing. Yet still, when those children died, the 20 children died, Keoma Griffith, on that commission of inquiry, sought to place blame on the Guyana Fire Service. And I must say, one of the few good things Robeson, Shoot, and Scoot Ben ever did was in that matter when he went to Parliament and defended the fire service and said it was not their responsibility to implement those measures. Robeson, Shoot, and Scoot here, he had a moment of sanity, then, and he said so. Then, of course, he relapsed into his asinine behavior. That is what you have. So I am saying that at the end of the day, they put in the secretary and they put the legal officer, and then you're going to hear that Edgelen responsible, Indarian responsible, Maraden responsible, is the poor captain, the force mate, they say, who set out to kill 15 of their colleagues and other people. That is what they want to tell us. That is what they want to tell us. Right? These people are ordinary, you know. These people ain't ordinary. They are no ordinary criminals. Right? Because if, again I say, and I made a comment and one of the jackasses come to challenge. Well, the people that took him on. Because I am saying that based on Nandalal's statement, that the captain and the chief mate were drunk and were not at the wheel. That is why they are charged with murder. I asked the question then, and I'm repeating it. If that is the argument, why is the loading master, whatever they call it, good superintendent, why is he then charged? He was not on the boat. He was not on the boat. And if you're going to reason that that you're charging the captain and the first mate because they might have been derelict in their duties at the time when this boat capsized, then tell me, I and y'all listens, tell me then how come the man who been on shore miles away, how come he get charged? How come you charge him? But you know, they get mouth. And as I've said on this thing, they tell you, I in a countryman, they say mouth shaped like batty. Must shoot shit. Mouth shaped like batty. Must shoot shit. Let me interpret that for you people who are not familiar with the Guyanese creoles. A mouth that is shaped like an anus must defecate. I think that is the English interpretation. A mouth that is shaped like an anus must defecate. You're telling me that, the man, if you're drunk, maybe he's qualified to know when people are drunk. So you charge them. So these men, why didn't charge them for committing suicide too? Attempt to commit suicide. Because if it is that they deliberately tried to sing this boat when they were on, and then they drunk, so one would reason that they try to commit suicide. That is one. And the next thing is that these people are survivors. The captain and the mate are survivors. They survive by the grace of God. Right? The time ain't reached yet. So they survive. You charge them with murder. It means you don't want to get to the bottom of what transpired, because right away you're excluding them. The only two persons with experience on the boat who can tell you what really chopped in terms of the boat, and people can tell you what happened. Right? You charge them, so you silence them. You don't want us to come to this inquiry and say anything, because I cannot see any lawyer worth his salt advising his clients, those three men, two in particular, who are charged to appear before the Commission of Inquiry and to make any statement. So you shut them out. You shut them out. Right? So that is you have that. So again, I say our next thing I should have addressed. This government ain't got no decency, Government ain't got no decency. Coming out after the capsizing of this vessel, we heard of some heroic efforts by many. One of the first stories I heard is of this Lance Corporal of the Ghana Defense Force who saved, they say, 11 persons. Saved 11 persons. Then we had a lady recounted how she and her two children, a 3-year-old and a baby, she had a baby. And a man who was there, he had a lelonium, a roll of lelonium. He gave it to her. The 3-year-old was swept away and died. But he gave the lelonium, the roll of lelonium, to her. And she held on that lelonium with her baby. And she said she saw the man go down right there and the man died. Selfish, selfless action. Selfless action. Then we heard the story of the man who actually found where the vessel was. I am saying this to say there might be other acts, other heroic acts as well. I'm saying to tell this indecent government that you should seek to recognize those persons. You don't want to recognize the leader of the opposition, the role of Vinole the man gave. You don't want to recognize the leader of the opposition, all them. But once you can confirm the story of the Lance Corporal who saved those persons, who, if you can identify the man who caused the lady and her child or baby to be saved, once you can recognize them, who those persons were, we know who the fisherman was, right? Those people should be appropriately awarded. And let me say this to garnish my Paul, my friend. Because early in the game, he said, well, the soldier should be promoted to corporal. That's now you promote people. Corporal for what? You're promoting corporal? You're promoting he should be recognized nationally. Back in the day, during the colonial period, for acts of bravery, people were given the George Medal. Luknath Singh, the late assistant commissioner, he was given George Medal. In latter years, they get bravery medal. I think the Richard Feikel, you get appropriate award, but this government I don't think the PPP under Irfan Ali has ever given national awards to any local. Never. Never to any local person. Visited as a states and so on, they give. Never give to any local person. So I'm saying, again, I have more to talk about the Commission of Inquiry some other time, because we don't know when they're going to start. We don't know when they will start. As I said, they have named the secretary. They have not named anyone else. Wilson is telling me the Kasi Crown of Honor for Valor the Kasi crown of honor for valor. You know, because despite what they get, you know, Jerry Govaya and them to say and all other thing, the whole story is that you get a boat, they say receive a signal 11:01 the night. 1 minute after 11. And people say they want rescue till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then it took the fisherman days to find where the vessel was. Why the vessel didn't get beacon or whatever, give off the signal so he could have home in and know exactly where it is. It's a whole set of thing. And then Jerry Govaya come to tell us. The only thing I know Jerry Govaya can do good is to recover an aircraft. It was said some years ago, an aircraft belonging to his company was somehow stolen or somehow it ended up in Colombia, and he went there and he recovered it. So he's good at that. He's good at recovery of vessel, of airplane, not vessel, not sunken vessel, right? So that is what you have. And let me say this as I seek to close. As I seek to close, let me play this for y'all. Yesterday was Sunday. The bishop, I don't know what he would have preached yesterday if he preached at all. And again, I ask the question, who going to sit down and listen to the man telling you what God? What do you have to say?
The spirit of religion is keeping the body of Christ apart from seeing that our nation is going to the dogs. Our elected officials are having free rein. No checks and no balances. While the political elites are living so high and dry, our babies are commuting on these 87-year-old death trap, owned and operated by this failed state, with expired life vest, a half-cock engine, no transponder, no emergency beacon, no proper evacuation and emergency protocol in place. Just a bareback death ship with not even a functioning deep water anchor, while the nation mourns. Those responsible for this criminal negligence are passing the buck, shifting the blame, instead of focusing on the recovery of our friends and families from the belly of that doomed vessel. This should have never happened in the first place. Now entire families are wiped out from off the face of the earth. Men and women, babies among them, gone too soon, sent on these eternal assignments in the depths of the ocean by the same government who swore to protect them. How this evil is allowed to go unaddressed by the body of Christ in this nation is beyond. Let me remind you today, my people, in the words of that old Irish statesman, he said that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Yeah, the only that's what if Ejil, what if you can give that to Ejil so that Ejil can perhaps recite it as his next sermon? What if he can do that? Wonder if this preacher, whoever he is, I don't know who he is, can do that. Now, I just saw it's been released that the terms of reference to the COI have been published in the official gazette. I'm gonna deal with it so we could come Wednesday and deal. But when we talk about Ejil and them, you got to remember Loving Dare. Remember Loving Dare sang about them? He sang about people like Ejil. Y'all remember, man? And what he said? Let me play to you a part of what Loving Dare said about people like Ejil.
No, all true Christians, just cool. You know in this. This one is about those people who curse the sinners, then turn around and do the things that give true Christians a bad name. Them a one day Christian, them a one day Christian. 6 days a week, they doing all kind of wrong. Sunday dress up in a white, enough of them a fraud. See them a come, the sacred cow, with the attitude holier than thou. They don't mingle with non-Christian folk. They don't wanna be unequally yoked. Them customising at them a gone some way, because them go to church every Sunday while me in a bed I sleep some more, cause me go a party the night before. Them cuss fornicator, cuss the crook, but them a do the same when nobody now look. Them a one day Christian, them a one day Christian. 6 days a week they doing all kind of wrong. Sunday dress up in a white, Bible in their hand. Oh Lord, them a one day Christian.
Them a one day Christian, say loving dear. They know themselves. One day Christian. One day. And remember this? Let me say, don't forget this here.
Hey, who must go? Bethel must go. Kadibai come a light to the nation. Who must go? Bethel must go. Square pegging wrong, only can't fit the position. Who must go? Bethel must go. Got a lot of people under frustration. Who must go? Bethel must go. I will lock you up.
Jill must go. Let me give you this next one too.
Who must go? Ethel and Linda. 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 Who must go? Ethel and Linda.
That should be this, the chorus all over. Ejil and Indar must go. 3 men charged with murder. The men that own this boat. The government own the boat. Ejil and Indar, the regulatory body, Marad, Indar in charge. Steve Thomas is demanded. So all them sit down in office still and men charged with murder. How come? Make them make sense. Make that make sense. And let me say this to you too, as I started out by telling you about the demonstration and so on, the legality of it and so on. You got to continue applying pressure for Ejil and Indar to go. Ejil and Indar must go. You get commission of inquiry and you get them sit down. They did the same damn thing with the major commission of inquiry when they had Priya Manichan still sitting there. Priya Manichan still sitting there. So y'all gonna make them repeat the same thing. Have Ejil and Indar sitting. I see they get big fortress around Indar house, and that's what they're doing now. I understand a lot of the PVP thugs are sent to guard the residents and against protesters and so on. Don't let it intimidate you. I see police put a big barrier in front of Indar home, wherever the home is located, I don't know. But that is what the police force is used for now. Peaceful demonstration, peaceful picket. And they're trying to prevent people from doing peaceful picket. That is why they keep icking. Right? They conform.